Happy New Year, everyone. I'm a little late to this, obviously, because it's not the first anymore. But I just want to do a quick video update about my plans, essentially, for 2021. One of the main things that I want to focus on this year, which I didn't do in 2020, and I'm a little annoyed at myself for not actually following through and kind of using the pandemic as a little bit of an excuse, but it seemed like a really bad time to start a business, especially changing into a field where it's a little bit more expensive on gear and whatnot, going from visual effects to filmmaking. But 2021, I've been working a little bit now, gained a little bit of a savings and a bit of a base, and it just more and more speaks to me and how much I really want to be doing filmmaking more and more full time. Whether that is just shooting commercials for companies or making my own short films. That is what I want to be doing, and the goal now is I'm putting in place a 3-year plan that in 3 years I aim to be making all of my income from actually shooting and producing projects. Whether it's my own or working for someone else, it just means I won't be getting majority of my money from working in visual effects. That's my 3-year goal. My 1-year goal for 2021 is to start just getting my name out there and start building the foundation for this business. I've already announced, obviously, the 1-year film project, which I still aim to do, but I wanted to talk about I'm gonna say 5, that might be more or less, I don't know, I'm kind of winging this, but my 5 filmmaker goals for 2021. So my first goal for 2021 is to write a feature film. I have a short film that I've written. It's about 20 pages long, so it's about a 20-minute film that I really, really want to make. It's very different from a lot of the stuff that I've done before. It's not horror, it's not comedy. It still falls into a very sci-fi realm, but it's very much grounded, as much as you can be with the premise that this is about. And I really want to make that into a feature film eventually. So my goal for this year, my first goal, is to write the feature film script for this. That's originally what it was supposed to be. I wanted to make a short film equivalent of that as a proof of concept or to send to festivals, but to write that as a feature film is the goal. My second goal is to write Transparence as a web series. A lot of people really seem to connect with it and like it. I do think it's a relatively strong idea in terms of my thought process on what the actual series is about. It's very hard to condense what the whole series is about into a 4-minute short film. So it is slightly different than the story beats that would happen in a series. But the core concept and the visual style is pretty much there. I would like to obviously elevate it a little bit, but I really want to take that further. Everyone that I've spoke to seems to really like it. It was submitted for a competition that it didn't get to the next stage, but that could be a number of reasons. Not that it wasn't a good project, but merely that it would be too expensive to produce, it's too niche. So making something where it's like a web series, which is more on a limited budget, seems to make more sense. The third one is, this is a lot of writing it seems, but is to develop another idea into a web series too. This one is a little bit more out there in terms of concept. It's a lot more comedy and fantasy driven. I haven't really mentioned it anywhere, but what my plan is for this is to make a fake trailer, or like a proof of concept trailer, I should say, using the elements of the story. I don't want to give anything away because I think it's probably one of my best ideas, but I really want to make that into a web series as well. And when I say like a web series, I'm not talking like TV style 30-minute, 23 episodes. I'm talking like this would be a 6-episode or 8-episode show. Same with Transparency, it would be a 10-episode show, maybe a little bit longer than 10-minute increments, but just developing these ideas into actual written, tangible things that I can either pitch to try and get funding, which I'd like to do with Transparence. But with this other one that I don't want to say anything about, but I think people would really love, I want to run it as a Kickstarter because I think that it will be something that will benefit a lot from community involvement. Transparence is a little bit more of a traditional kind of sci-fi web series. So my goal is to write those two as well as the feature film of this other idea. I guess my fourth one is, well, I guess it all kind of ties together really, but fourth one is like getting the business off the ground and actually working towards getting this going. One of the things that I'm looking at, which I am a firm believer in, gear and resolution and all that stuff doesn't really matter as long as you're doing the thing. It's about telling the story. However, I am looking to invest in a new camera. There's a lot of cameras that came out in 2020 that are roughly around $6,000, or like older cameras are about $6,000. And I feel like I'm slowly getting into a position where I want to invest in one of these more professional cameras. Not saying that the Pocket 4K isn't a professional camera. It absolutely is. I've shot every film that I've done for the last 2 years on it and every project on it pretty much, other than the GH5. But I want to start working on productions, and some productions want something that's a little bit more cinema, you know. Just because Pocket Camera has cinema in the name doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be used on big feature films or, you know, TV shows or anything like that. So I'm looking to invest in a little bit more, I guess it's not prosumer, but just professional gear. I would say the Pocket 4K or the Pocket 6K is more prosumer, which is absolutely fine, but I'm looking to make that next leap because I want to work with cameras and I want to figure out a workflow that if and when I'm renting bigger gear, I'm ready and set up for those workflows. So I'm going to do another video that talks about the cameras specifically because I just don't know which one to pick. It's such a toss-up. There's so many things that I need and so many things that not that I need, but there's so many things that I want, and each camera has different things, and it's trying to pick the one that has the most all-round versus what my heart wants. But I'm going to do another video on that, discussing about the different camera choices as well. And the last one is I want to shoot more music videos. One of the things that I used to do in Manchester with friends who were in bands is we shoot music videos for them, and I really miss doing that. I find it such a creative outlet that it's both, you know, professional, you're meeting new people, you're expanding a network of, you know, either people you can work for or with, but also just like cool creatives. Like you meet new people and new friends who are all creative people in a different medium, which can kind of inspire you. And I feel like I've been really lacking on that working in visual effects. So I just want to do more creative things, meet new people and work on creative ideas. It's not so much about the money in that regard for those things. That's just a creative outlet for me. But maybe that will lead into, you know, the idea of growing a business and making money from what I want to do. So most of the things don't really require anything other than me just putting myself out there or just following through on ideas. A lot of it, you know, 3 of them are writing. And, you know, the music video aspect and doing creative things doesn't really cost me any money or need any gear that I don't already own. The camera one is really just a more vanity thing, but I'll talk about that more in a separate video because this is already longer than I expected it to be. But I'm also going to talk in that video about how I'm going to buy it, or the plan. I'm still figuring that out. I'm still, you know, I've applied for a few things that I'll talk about because I think that's important for other people to think about. I don't want people thinking that, oh, well, you have a ton of money of this and that. I don't. But I've come up with a plan and a way in which I'm going to do this that I think is the most sensible without getting into significant amount of debt. And I'm also going to talk about other ways that you can actually get cameras without having to have the money sitting there right there and now. Especially if you're already working and doing this in a semi-full-time or full-time way, or even just every other weekend. If you're making a little bit of money and you want to jump into those things, there are avenues that you can go down to actually get your hands on gear without renting and like actually own it without having to drain every single, you know, penny in your savings. So yeah. Anyway, that's it for this video. I just wanted to do an update of what my plan is for this year, if anyone even cares. I still need to do the visual effects video for transparence, or the post video I should say, because I'm going to talk about sound as well. I am working on that. I just got really busy over the holidays with the new job because it's TV, which has really high, quick turnarounds. So it doesn't always leave me with a lot of free time, as well as, family, girlfriend commitments, all that stuff too. It makes it a very difficult month, but now that that's over, we can look at more doing things where it's trying to put videos out on a semi-regular basis. I want to do the next video on the one-year film project, which the camera one actually does tie into, because it also leads into one of the reasons why I want to get this new camera too, which I'll talk about, which is actually an important thing that I'll talk about in that video. I hope everyone had a good holidays and New Year's, and at least, things seem to be going in a positive direction in the world of what's been happening. So I hope everyone has like some, hopeful plans for the next year or even the next couple of months, and the weight of 2020 at least hopefully feels like it's lifting a little bit, even as a placebo effect, that you're just feeling a little bit more optimistic. But anyway, yeah, thank you for watching. Subscribe for the camera video and watch me bumble my way through trying to explain to myself or justify to myself why I need a cinema camera when I really don't, but I really want one.